Hi, and welcome to the Renaissance Man podcast, proudly presented by the New York Post, a show where we cover trends in fashion, entertainment, current events, and everything in between. Today's episode is extra special because anytime I can start a show and say, "What up, doe?" it makes me happy. And my next guest is a television personality, former Miss Michigan USA, who recently shattered glass ceilings by becoming the first Black woman to win Big Brother reality show. And again, being from my hometown is a shining example of the resilience and strength that our city produces. It is my honor to welcome the incredible Taylor Hale to the
What up,
Renaissance Man
though?
podcast. What up,
What up,
though?
though? Look, that was the best intro I've gotten in the month and a half since I've been out the house. I just need to record that and have that hyped up wherever I
Yes,
am. Thank
yes.
you, Mr.
You know
Jalen
how we
Rose.
do it. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. I'm rooting for you. I know your story, but I want you to tell the story to those who may not know. Tell us about your upbringing in Detroit, where you grew up, and how you think Motown shaped you.
Woo! All right. Well, this is easy. I talk about it all the time. So I grew up at 7 Mile and Woodward. I grew up in the University District,
Mhm.
and I went to school my entire life at Country Day. So from age 4, I was one of, I think, 4 Black kids going to Country Day. And I
Mhm.
went there all the way until I graduated high school. But it's interesting because people at that time didn't understand Detroit to be a multifaceted, multi-economic city. So you
Mhm.
see the Black girl from Detroit coming to public or private school in the suburbs, they automatically think, I'm from the hood. All I
Mhm.
know are gunshots. But the
Yep.
University District is a beautiful
Yes.
area. Like I
Yes.
grew up around Black excellence, Black wealth, doctors, lawyers, business owners. That's the life that I've always had. And what's always been important to me is not to say this is the only way to be a Black person. It's important for
Mhm.
me to say Detroit has all different types of Black people and there's space for all of us. So while I may have had a more privileged economic upbringing in the city of Detroit than others, I will never, ever, ever discredit or try to distance myself from other Detroiters because circumstances just happen to be different. So
Absolutely.
that is the life that I had as a native Detroiter. And I would look 7 Mile Woodward. You can never tell me I'm not a Detroiter within city limits. Okay.
No doubt. No doubt. These is major streets. Woolworth, 7 Mile. This is major right here. And by the way, Country Day, one of the greatest schools in the United States of America. So
Mhm.
kudos to your family, your parents, for not only nurturing you, but yourself for getting in. What was it like for you in so many cases being the minority trying to prove that you deserve to fit in?
That's something being one of 4 Black kids at age 4, I learned very early on. But what I was also appreciative about Detroit Country Day is that even though I was a minority within a minority, that school was still very diverse. I got
Mhm.
exposed to Jewish kids. I got exposed to Indian, like from India kids. I got exposed to Middle Eastern kids.
Mhm.
And yes, many different types of white people as well. So while I was used to being a minority, and yes, there are microaggressions that I faced in all different phases of my life from young to old, and now it's still this beautiful experience that I had where I was pre-exposed at a very early age to all different types of people. So yeah, there were times where I felt like I had to prove my Blackness. There were points where 2 of my Black friends were giving me Black lessons on how to drink
Right.
pop the right way and talk the right way. But it got to a point where I was like, sorry to swear, but to hell with this. Like,
Correct.
I exist as I am. My
Yes.
Blackness is just as valid as everybody else's. And
Yes.
once I embraced that, that's when I knew that the only way to represent my Blackness is by showing people that your version of Blackness is correct and valid.
Absolutely. And I appreciate your strength and your discipline and your leadership. But growing up on 7 Mile and Woodward, but then entering in a pageant universe is two different worlds. So at what point did you realize that that was something you want to do?
Oh, it's funny. People always ask me about this when I tell them I was with Michigan USA, and they think, "Oh, so you've been doing pageants since you were young, right?" No, my senior year of college. My senior year of college, I was watching Miss Universe, and it was the year that Steve Harvey messed up the announcement. But before he even got to the end of that pageant and messed up the announcement, I'm watching these girls. They're beautiful, they're smart, they're sexy, they have causes they care about, and they're not ashamed of owning all of that. And I said, I'm one of those girls. Like, I should be on that stage. What am I doing sitting here watching them? I need to be one of them. And I was already looking up how to compete for, at the time, Miss DC USA, because that's where I went to school. Then, and the show comes, Steve Harvey has his whole debacle, but I'm already signing up for DC. I'm like, I need to be who I am at a larger level. So I lost that pageant, but the girl who beat me went on to win Miss USA. And I said, oh, okay. I might have something here if I can place in her top 15. I waited 3 years because I just needed to trust myself and trust my timing. I competed in Michigan, and I got second runner up, and I won the swimsuit competition. And then I said, next year, that crown is mine. And I trained, and then COVID happened. So instead of training for 9 months like I planned, I had to train for a year and 9 months. And I never quit. I never stopped. And when we could finally have that pageant, I swept that competition and won Miss Michigan USA.
So being a basketball player, there's certain people that think, oh, you're tall, so you're good at basketball. So for you, you're beautiful, you're smart, so it only makes sense that you should be in a pageant. But you just talked about training and work ethic. What are some of the things you were doing leading up to that point?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of people think, oh, you can get some good grades, hold a normal conversation, and put on some makeup. You can walk on some heels and do just fine. No, I have seen glamazons lose that pageant.
Yeah.
I have seen all different types of people lose a pageant. And I've seen all different types of people that people don't think will place in a pageant. And it's because these women are highly driven and highly dedicated. And when you stop looking at it as I'm competing against other women, and you start looking at it as I'm competing to be the best version of myself, I'm competing to be the smartest, most informed version of myself, I'm competing to be the most inspirational version of myself for other people to see, I'm competing to be the healthiest version of myself. That's when you can walk into that pageant and walk on that pageant stage and say, this is who I am. Take me or leave me. And if you take me, I'm going to show you over and over again why you chose me. And if you leave me, it's not going to impact me at all, because I'm confident in who I am. I trained every day for a year and 9 months, because it's not about how you look physically. It's not about the gown that you wear. It's about how you present and understand yourself. And once you have that unmovable confidence, that's when you see a girl walk across that stage and say, that's someone who deserves to win.
Incredible. What was it like for you eventually being crowned Miss Michigan? What up, though? Miss Michigan 2021. What was it like?
I mean, if you actually see the video of my crowning, it was chaos. They put the crown on my head. I start ugly crying. You see all these girls getting crowned. They have the prettiest cries you've ever seen in your life. I am just, yes. I said, And then I went to hug the teen that won, Miss Michigan Teen USA. She hugs me, the crown knocks off my head, hits the floor, and goes rolling across the stage. So I said, there is no more perfect crowning than this chaos right here for Taylor Hale.
That's something happened to a Detroiter. That's all.
Yes, that's all it is. But you know what? Again, that immovable confidence. I walked on over, I put that crown, put it back on my head, and said, oh, no takesies, backsies. It's mine.
No doubt.
But it meant everything, because now I'm a Black girl. I'm only at that point the second Black woman in 15 years to hold the Miss Michigan USA crown. I'm a native Detroiter, the daughter of 2 Cass Tech grads, and I get to show Michigan, I get to show the USA that Black girls like me with a darker skin complexion deserve to be heralded as beautiful, as smart, as well-rounded. And I took that so seriously, because I know what it's like to have someone look at me and say, you'd be prettier if you were just a little bit lighter, or don't tan too much. because you're really pretty, but like for a dark girl.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be really realistic here. Like, there's a whole spectrum beyond me. So to
Yeah.
call me dark skinned is, I think, disrespectful to the rest of the spectrum of beautiful ebony women beyond. And so people are going to put microaggressions on me
Mm-hmm.
when I'm pretty in the middle. I can't imagine how ugly it can get for my darker sisters. So it was important for me to fully embrace what I can mean and the space that I can open up for the girls who look like me coming after me.
So you're wearing the crown. You're Miss Michigan. What are some of the things, who are some of the people that probably reached out to you, that recognized who you are, that hit you on social media, that surprised you after that?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I will say, going to Country Day, I actually grew up with someone who was related to the Illich family. So they were kind enough to reach out and be like, hey, like,
Dope.
let's get you visibility.
Dope.
And that was important to me because I don't want to be a girl who just got a crown and competes at Miss USA and doesn't do anything for the rest of the year. I got that crown for the whole year. Well, 10 months in my case, actually. I'm not bitter. um, but, with COVID having just happened, I love my predecessor, but she was limited in what she could do. And let's be real, Jalen, if I asked you who's Miss Michigan USA right now, you wouldn't be able to tell me. So it was
Correct.
really important for me to be the most visible, the most active Miss Michigan USA. And when you have a connection like that through the Illich family, it just meant everything to me that people were willing to give me that leverage because it wasn't about me holding the crown. Yeah, I had my own goals, but it was about what this access and visibility can do for other people.
Shout
But
out
no,
to the Illiches.
I didn't have any athletes sliding in my DMs, nothing, none of that overnight stuff.
Well, Joseph, congratulations. You
Thank you
guys have
very much.
officially made it public, and I want to acknowledge that and congratulate you. But before I ask you about him, I have to ask you, for those who aren't familiar with Big Brother, give us a snapshot of what being on the show is like and why you decided that it's something that you wanted to be a part of.
Ooh, child. Okay. How do we snap this down? You are in a house with 16 people. One person has power and nominates two people, and the house votes to evict one of those two people. In a 12-week show, 12 weeks, yeah, series, I was nominated 6 times to be evicted. And all 6 of those times, through my social connections, I evaded eviction and ultimately won the entire game. Now, my story in that house is unique. I faced an unprecedented amount of bullying, microaggressions, racism, colorism from other Black people in the house. I was verbally attacked in front of everybody in the house by one person. It was a harrowing and overwhelming experience. It's something we haven't seen before in that house. And for me to come out victorious and win America's Favorite Player, an extra $50,000, the first person to win both the game and America's Favorite Player, 2 times over history making. Yes, I am bragging on myself.
Yes, indeed. You don't toot your own horn. Sometimes ain't no music getting played.
So I better play it myself, right?
Yes, indeed.
So to do all of that was something we haven't experienced before. But for those who don't know Big Brother, imagine the conversation that you have on the phone in a small group of people at a restaurant is filmed 24/7 and broadcast to all of America 24/7. Constant surveillance. That is what I was experiencing. And I think that's what gave me sanity when I was going through those negative times, because I knew that even though I was experiencing some crazy stuff, all of America was also seeing it.
So I have to just say this, and I take pride in being unapologetic. You're my Detroit sister, and I ain't like that. I felt bad for you. And the one thing I appreciated about you, though, it wasn't how hard you got hit, is that you got hit and you kept on going. And from the 313, everybody knows what that means. And so for you, what was it like to overcome the microaggressions, the bullying? A lot of people, including myself, felt it was reprehensible how you were being treated, but you did it with class, you did it with a smile, you did it with intellect. So what was that like for you?
You know, my Uncle Sonny used to say, I ain't new to this, I'm true to this.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I have experienced this before. I know what it's like when colorism is coming towards me, when microaggressions are coming towards me, when straight out aggression is coming towards me. The best I can do is focus on the mission. And I understood the history of Big Brother. I wasn't a fan of Big Brother before coming into the game. I heard about the Cookout. For those who aren't familiar, the Cookout is an all-Black alliance that formed last year that guaranteed the first Black winner of Big Brother. Xavier, who's also a Nender, not from Detroit, but I'll give him Michigan props.
Shout out to Xavier. He's
Shout
from
out
the
to Xavier.
Mitten.
That's right. But I heard of the Cookout. I watched some of their season in real time. And as I was being recruited for Big Brother, I super binged everything so I could understand what I was getting into. And in that super binge, I realized that the Black women, especially the ones of darker skin complexion, were ostracized, bullied, alienated for little to no reason. But they couldn't make it to the end like I did.
Gotcha.
And I knew, based on the history of the show, I knew that my goal, if I were to go on reality TV, had to be bigger than me. Because if it wasn't bigger than me, I would have self-evicted. It was bad. You know how bad it was there. But it was more important to me to show the world that Black women deserve to be loved, lauded, and appreciated for what they have to endure to make it to the end. Because we get villainized all the time for just trying to exist. Just trying to exist. And I wasn't going to let that fly in the house.
And by the way, not only did you not allow it to fly, when you won, your moving speech at the end of the season of Big Brother was incredible. And I'm going to quote something you said. Like so many other women in the world, we have to fight to take care of ourselves. Why was it important for you in that moment, your biggest moment, to not just toot your own horn, but to stand up for women everywhere?
Because I know the nature of the game. I think Big Brother is a reflection. It's a mirror. It's a reflection of how we're treated in the real world. And everything is put into a bubble and turned up on 10. And even though the women in that house said some very evil and ugly things about me, I still was not going to turn my back on these women because I know what their experiences are like in the real world. And as much as I hated that they felt that they had to come against me in the house, my final speech was still a larger message about how we play this game and how we act in the world. And I'm not going to be the one to betray women, even though they betrayed me. I'm not going to be the one to go to the end and put a knife in all of their backs, because when any one of us succeeds, the rest of us succeed. And that is more important to me. So I had to take a bullet on the way there. I am bleed out, bandaged myself up. Like I said in that speech, I bandaged myself up and I got there. And now we have the first woman to win Big Brother since season 20.
Your resiliency is amazing. So I want to ask a fun question. What are some of your hobbies? What do you like to do for fun?
I'm like Garfield. I like to sleep and I like to eat. Listen, all these restaurants. Joseph's trying to FaceTime me right now. Not right now, bud. All these restaurants we got downtown. Listen, I went to school for lived in DC for 7.5 years, went to undergrad there. Every year that I came back to Detroit to visit family, I said, what's this new place? What's this new place? So baby, I gotta eat. I gotta eat everything in sight on top of my old classics. And what do I do after I eat? I sleep.
No doubt. So what do you like to eat? What are some of the things you like to indulge in?
Ooh, so I will always make a chicken soup whenever I'm feeling sad or sick. My grandma's chicken soup. And let me tell you, I made it in the house a lot. Big comfort food, girl. I love a gumbo. I love a lemon pound cake. And whenever I hit home, I gotta hit a Coney, and I gotta get my buddy's pizza.
You
the classic.
So 313, and I love it so much.
It's unreal.
Coney, boss up.
Absolutely. Do you know how many times I talked about Verner's in that house? They said, what the hell is Verner's? Yes. I was like, y'all don't know. Y'all don't know.
Exactly. Verner's is a medicine for those that don't know. Okay. Right. Not only is it tastes great, but it cures headaches, and it does so many other things that it's made in the 313, and it's embedded in what we do. But I want to also congratulate you again. You came public with your relationship with Joseph. I want to make sure I pronounce his name right. Abden.
Ab, like all those abs you got on
Abden,
chest,
yeah. He's smart. He's handsome. You know, y'all taking amazing pictures. Just talk about what was it like for you to go public with your relationship?
Oh, slightly terrifying, but also a relief. In the Big Brother house, you never know who you can really trust. And Joseph was one of the very few people to be kind to me when the entire house was attacking me.
Mm.
Um, Even though it wasn't good for his game, he still spent time with me. He got to know me as a person. And it's very clear in the house that our relationship got flirtier. Now, once he got evicted and everybody came back and very intentionally made me believe that he turned on me, degraded me, I had to play the rest of the game wondering who this person that I was falling for actually was.
Mm.
And the night of finale night, when Julie Chen Moonves asked on live TV, did you actually betray someone? That's when I knew, oh, he didn't betray me at all.
That's
Y'all
love.
sick. Y'all sick out here. So we get out the house and we reconnected and he kissed me on finale night. And I just knew that we wanted to take our time to explore our relationship, really hash all the things out that we were confused about. We were committed to going to therapy together to make sure our heads were okay so that our relationship would be long lasting. Because you see all these reality TV couples, they go on TV, they come out, they say they're so in love, they move in, and they break up 2 months later.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I found my forever love, and there's nothing that I'm not going to jeopardize that.
Love
So
that.
now, after we went on the cruise that I won for America's Favorite Player, we had those really hard conversations. And you understand based on someone's communication style, how you argue,
Mm-hmm.
where they understand how they come from. That's when it was solid for us. We realized we can make it through any and everything. And only about a week afterwards, then we went public. We are good behind secrets, clearly. So we were like, we got to do this in public. Love me out loud.
Well, Joseph Abden, I want to say, my brother, you got you a winner, a champion. You know, in men, we say a term, somebody outkicks their coverage. And he got a lot going on, but I love you guys together and I'm happy for you. And as you mentioned, being a public figure and having your relationship, what was it like knowing, okay, we're going to announce, we're going to do the social post, we're going to look at the comments. Like, what was that process like for you guys?
It's so easy when you have someone who is so loving and supportive. And I gotta also say, he's got Michigan roots. Joseph's mom grew up in Dearborn. I said, oh,
Oh,
y'all got
that's
the
what's
Middle
up.
Eastern.
That's
Yeah.
what's up.
So I
Shout
said,
to
okay. So he knows
Fairlane.
what's up. That's right. Take me out to Fairlane, give me that Jeepers. Anyway.
Exactly.
But yeah, I've got this amazing person by my side, and we have had our fair share because we go live on Instagram all the time. It's like inviting people into our private FaceTime conversations. Because when you talk on the Big Brother house about anything, it's almost weird not having cameras on you 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
So we go live all the time, and we have our fair share of haters talking about this is just for publicity. You guys just want money for your relationship. I wish I got paid for some of these articles of us talking.
Exactly.
But when I realize that I see the hate comment and sometimes I'll read it out loud and burst out laughing, it can't get any better than that. It doesn't hurt. It makes us giggle because we're so strong and confident in each other.
Absolutely. So being a public figure, being a part of reality TV, what advice would you give other young people with our backgrounds who want to make their voices heard in a world that constantly tries to minimize our voices?
Yeah. I think self-assurance and confidence is exactly what you need. And that sounds so surface level, right? Believe in yourself, be kind to yourself. You won't get anywhere in this world if you don't love yourself, if you don't believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean be delusional. You have to be
Right.
self-aware.
Yep.
But you have to be so self-assured, especially in this echo chamber of reality TV and social media coming outside of it. You have to understand who you are. You have to be willing to defend yourself, but also understand not to cross the line in degrading other people to advance yourself. Because reality TV is set up in a way where there have to be heroes and there have to be villains. You don't have to be one or the other. We are multifaceted individuals, and you can't be afraid of showing all sides of you and daring people on the outside to pin you as one way. I was messy in that house.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind, but I was also a human being. And I think that's why people really related and resonated with me, not because of what I experienced, but because I wasn't afraid of being exactly who I am, all versions.
What about music? What are you listening to when you're in the car? What are you listening to in your trailer? what artist are you rocking with right now?
Oh, you think I got a trailer these days? You think I got a trailer and a rider? Let me talk to my agent. Hold on a minute now. What am I listening to? I'm always Bums and Cash Doll. Always
Mm,
some Big Sean. And I will say, after I won, Big Sean did shoot me a message and said, "Just showing
dope,
love. You're repping the city," and that meant a lot to
dope,
me. So that was
dope.
real good. What else? I'm really into like all the women rappers that are coming up. I love me some Megan. I love Cardi, but I also love Doja. You
Ooh.
know, in my era growing up, my era, like 2000s, rap was so dominated by men, but then you had Missy Elliott. Now, the women in rap are creative, they're remixing, they're pulling on my nostalgia, they're my age. It is so empowering to hear all these women completely blow up the scene. So I love pop, I love rap. That's all my stuff. And also, I'm a big Janet Jackson fan.
Ooh,
Big Janet Jackson fan.
control.
Listen, that was the first album I got when I was head of household in the house. I said Janet Jackson first, and I got a second HOH, head of household reign, and I got the Beyonce Renaissance album. So, it's all black women. That's number
Queen
one.
B.
That's right. How dare I go in that house and not listen to Renaissance? Awful.
No doubt. You got to represent. And for those that don't know, if you ever been to downtown Detroit, the signature building that we have is also named after this show, the Renaissance Center.
That's
Everywhere
right.
we go as 313ers, everywhere we go as 313ers, we're going to put on for our hometown. But before I let
Mhm.
you get out of here, Taylor Hale, and I'm extremely happy that you joined me and proud of what you've accomplished and what you will continue to accomplish. You're an inspiration, you're a champion, and the sky's the limit. But I want to do a rapid fire segment called Gone in 60 Seconds. You ready to do this?
Bring it on. Let's go.
Let's do it. So you back in the D, the 313. What is your go-to food spot?
Ooh, I'm hitting up Louisiana Creole gumbo, and then I'm going to Belle Isle and I'm eating it, watching the sunset.
And by the way, I know y'all saw the giant slide go viral. It was a little slippery that day. That happens. That thing been there for 50 years, and my
That's
head
right.
ain't get concussed one time going up and down it. I
I'll
promise.
race you next time.
Exactly. Let's get it. Okay, we're all about breaking stereotypes and myths on this show. What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about the pageant world?
Ooh, that the girls are fame hungry
Mm,
and unintelligent. I
mm,
don't think there's anything wrong with pursuing fame because it just means you want to be influential. You're an influential person. Barack Obama's an influential
mm.
person. So is Michelle Obama. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. And the last few Miss USAs, one was a nuclear physicist, another one was a commander in the military. Like these are strong, confident, well-rounded women.
And you're breaking so many stereotypes. For those that don't know, you got to be smart to go to country day. So this idea that she's just in a pageant or she's doing reality, no, you got to be smart. I took the test with C Webb to try to go to country day, and I was like, you know what, this ain't gonna work.
He said, I'll see you on the courts. I'll see you out there.
I'll see you in college, dog. uh, also, of your top accomplishments, people may not know this. You're a personal stylist. So
Yeah,
tell me
yeah.
one of your flyest outfits that you recently worn.
Ooh, oh, I'm gonna expose this. I have been exploring wearing more black owned brands,
Me too.
especially now that I'm in a higher profile. So I'm really excited about some Laquan Smith outfits that I'm looking forward to wearing at different events. And that is all I will say.
Shout out to Laquan Smith. We're going to show you
Love you,
love. And
Laquan Smith.
lastly, but certainly not least, what does the future have in store for you post Big Brother?
Ooh, I'd like to think of world domination, but if we're being
Let's
specific here,
go.
it's looking like entertainment news for me. So if you know anybody at Entertainment
Yes.
Tonight, you give them a call,
Yes,
okay?
no doubt. That'll be a good look for you. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can
Give me a microphone. I'll rock it.
speak it into existence. It's going
We're
to
doing it.
happen like it always has in your career. I'm happy
Thank
for you.
you.
Thank you for joining me. Stay healthy. Continue success.
Thank you. I'll see you back in the D.
Yes, indeed.